going to read a poem of mine called Ikon, which comes from a collection called Hymns, Ikons and Motets. And I dedicate it to the poet John Riley, my friend and mentor, who was murdered in Leeds on this day, October the 27th, 39 years ago. The icon of the poem is a remarkable configuration I was led to discover in Lincoln Cathedral. From 2 points in the choir, it's possible to see lined up through a carved triangular feature in the reredos an image of the crucified Christ in the east window. You can see the pattern in this drawing of them by Paul Jackson. There's the pattern in the reredos, and here is the roundel in the east window, and there are the two lined up together. The window and the reredos are 20 metres apart, and the times of manufacture between them more than 600 years. Their coming together in this way suggests within the delta of Venus an identification of the female organs of reproduction with the atoning death of the Christ. So we might conclude that every woman bears in the very centre of her being an icon of the crucified God. The poem starts with an epigraph from C.S. Lewis. Divine reality is like a fugue. 1. From 2 points where communicants file up to receive the body and blood of God before the high altar of his sacrifice for them, their eyes may see inscribed within a triangle of fretted stonework the crucified Christ in twixt heaven and earth suspense, within the delta of Venus. And though there are between these images of stone and 60 feet beyond the roundel of Christ in the east window 600 years, their coinciding marks an iconic truth that neither artist had intention of making. It is the viewer's focus has to read fallopian arms hanging from ovarian hands, uterine trunk, vaginal legs nailed at the sphincter, man-god in the form of femina, in which we see, who have the eyes to, the passage of life to life for us and our first home, our unwilled genesis, and the apocalypse we turn our eyes away from. The pains of being born we have no memory of are as the pangs of death to come, as the old rhymes of womb and tomb remind us. He who came to claim our birth has claimed our failings and our death, in which we are helpless but for his help. He is our midwife and placenta both, type of the common parturition of our planet, and death to those who are hid in Christ is our holy of holies. Therefore, sing, ye wombs of all the world, all who have borne in sorrow, all who have learnt to love, maybe too late, in loss, all who have gladly served their sons and daughters. Let your rejoicing be uninterrupted and your fervour immoderate and blithe, for we have what the pale pagan ghosts desire, the red-hot blood in our ventricles that sings for joy of life and for him who is its fons and origo. Life we have only known in this confined space, where every hope has been frustrated. But how shall we explode, and our feet no longer touch the ground, and baby cries sing out across the heavens when the last day of dismay is past, and every joyful head is crowned with gold. 2. And that isosceles delta is Ikon itself of the Trinity, with God the crucified inscribed in its very heart and centre. Helix of love at the font of uterine life. And how they sneer and mock and smile, the fresh men scientists, at Newton's turn from physics and the cycles of the stars to understanding God in terms of number, following a thread in the dark labyrinth of symbols and mystical ciphers in hope of the point of final illumination, the point he started from, in fact, the interpenetration of world and world, with all the unseen outcome. How we are and why God made us so is matter enough to ponder on for men and angels both. The modus of life, making like the chemistry of procreation, imitating God whether we will or no, and that our meditations never finish up in knowledge and its vanity, but only in the poetry of wonder, as in the life of woman, the type of natura naturans, who from the very opening of time, and in every single instance, no one excepted, in every girl from each matter-of-fact conception, carries from there to death in secret that she herself is unaware of, deep in the bowels of her being, the form of Christ and him crucified, whence into the world comes every man, whose birth is his first resurrection. 3. So, Christ then is her birthright, every daughter of Eve, and every she, like Mary, is Theotokos, at least in image. But the child she bears in the matrix of her being is impaled and bleeding, whose royal blood she bleeds as well, and in the blood is life, and in the bringing forth of life is crucifying pain, is abject sorrow, is stark humiliation that God tried out for himself. And in her lot is everlasting care, and fear that troubles sleep, and pain that is the pain of others' busyness keeps at bay. And yet how she delights in laughter and in dancing, dancing with other girls the steps she has to take, hopscotch and bouncing balls and skipping ropes, and song that colours everything, dances that angels envy, demons are cut to the quick with, awkward boys gaze at in awe. Her heart and hands have so much power to please, her face and hair explore delight, and music is honoured in her voice. In every sense, she is a wholesome figure, and long have I worshipped her. But now I think I know the reason why. I have seen her deeply hysterical secret that God designed to be recondite, and that I have let out of the bag.